Hello, YouTube. Okay, so today is October the 11th, and it's National Coming Out Day. This will be my first time celebrating National Coming Out Day. Or talking about it. I haven't reflected on that experience in a very, very long time. Okay, so I'm going to tell you my coming out story. Maybe that'll be interesting. I was laying in my bed, and I was thinking, I would like to go on YouTube and run my mouth, but I don't know what to run about. It's no gossip. I don't. I only do two television shows, and they are on tomorrow. So what do you talk about? Then I saw the headline on Facebook, National Coming Out Day. So okay, so obviously I'm gay. I'm 58 years old. So I came out at 19 years old. So all right, let me try to remember this thing. I haven't thought about it in years, but all right. So like most people, I knew I was gay since I was about 8 years old. And so I always had the secret. So gay kids, we grow up with this secret. Some people are. I didn't have any very much mannerisms. I wasn't feminine. I could pass for straight kind of thing. So sometimes people just have to deal with that. Depends on what they're dealt. For me, I could stay in the closet until I came out. I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana. I had this secret since I was 8 years old. I mean, I would do little tricks as I became a teenager. I would do things like have my friends' girlfriends come home with me so I could pretend that I was like them or dating them or something to throw off the scent. Um, there was always trying to hide and trying to present as a normal person. Anyway, so I'm from a big family in Indianapolis. There may be 100 relatives. Even back then, there were tons of us. And I chose to come out by leaving Indianapolis. So I was 19 years old. I was living in my own apartment. Even then, I still felt so connected to my family that I feel like the only way I was ever going to come out and be myself was to leave Indianapolis. So the first opportunity I got, I did just that. I was working at Sears, and there was some job offered to do telemarketing or something with travel. So I planned, okay, I'm going to leave Indianapolis, go with this telemarketing company. They sell magazine subscriptions and something like that. Anyway, they would transfer you to California. Well, I got packed up and ready to go to California. I was 19 years old. And when I got to the hotel, the people had checked out. So obviously, this was some kind of scam. I saw it in the paper. I don't know if the cops ran the people off or they just left or they left ahead of the cops. But good thing I didn't fall into that. But I had already announced to everyone that I was leaving. So uh, I stuck to my plan and I just got on the freeway and left. I left Indianapolis with 30. No, I arrived in California with $37. So I left Indianapolis with maybe $100. I got on the freeway, went the wrong way, ended up in Chicago, which is not coming to California. I should have went through St. Louis. I didn't know any better. Then I got a hotel room in Chicago, not realizing that I had to get all the way to California with $100. So anyway, so I ended up going the wrong way. Uh, a lot of circumstances happened, and I ended up back in Indianapolis. Uh, I ended up back in Indianapolis. Okay, so I took off to go to California. I only made it as far as Las Vegas. In Las Vegas, my car broke down. I called my mom. She told me that she had co-signed for that car, and the people wanted their money. And so I had to. She don't care if I come to California, but I had to bring that car back. So I had to drive the car all the way back to Indianapolis. Then I got on a bus and came to Los Angeles. So I arrived in Los Angeles. I was still 19 years old. Basically, when I left Indianapolis, I was out. From that point on, I considered myself a gay person. I mean, even though I'd already been a gay person, I had not really acted on it. Maybe a couple of little things. So I arrived in 1976. I'm pretty sure of that. It was September 76. I'm sure of it because Elvis Presley was dying as I was passing Las Vegas. Nevada. So I think that was September 7th, 1976. I arrived there 19 years old. Uh, Essentially, I was out since then. Uh, I made the mistake of, it was more important for me to be away from Indianapolis, I think, than I wasn't really thinking rationally because I arrived there with $37 in my pocket. I didn't know anybody. I walked up and down the boulevard, Hollywood Boulevard, a couple times and met this guy on Hollywood Boulevard. That's the way it is when you're young and gorgeous, particularly, especially since I was basically a virgin. I didn't tell people that. I didn't want to sound stupid and naive, but I was basically a virgin still. And this guy took me home. His name was Tipton, Tony Tipton, right off of Hollywood Boulevard. As it turns out, there was a celebrity. I don't know if it's appropriate to mention his name, but there was a guy that I met there very soon who was actually a celebrity. He was used to be a Soul Train dancer, and he would later become have a few records. But at the time, I moved in right next door to him, so I didn't know him. But I moved in with this guy, and within, I'd say, 2 weeks, I was out there on the boulevard, kind of enjoying California, really enjoying my freedom, not even realizing what dire straits I was in. I mean, I had gotten lucky. This guy let me move into his apartment the first night, and then very soon I met a costume designer who's also a very popular black man, successful. Uh, I wasn't hustling or anything. I didn't know what hustling was. I was just out there, and he picked me up in his car, in his Porsche, and basically took me under his wing. So I got very fortunate getting to California. It's been about 40 years ago. Anyway, so this is a coming out story. So, okay, so I was in California. This guy even helped me to get my own apartment. There was actually two guys. They were partners. They were lovers. I was like their, I guess you call it a boy toy kind of thing. I was kind of hanging out, and one of them got me an apartment there in Hollywood, right beside Man's Chinese Theater. So things were going well. My sister was getting married. So I said, okay, I'll come back for the wedding. Being that young, I didn't even realize that it was important that I keep this apartment that is basically been given to me. So I just gave my apartment up, didn't even think about it. I said, I'll go to the wedding, I'll come back, and somebody, I guess I figured that someone else will pick me up and I'll get another apartment. But of course, it didn't work out that way. But so when I came back to Indianapolis, I'm still 19. I came back to Indianapolis. Uh, I was staying with my mother, my mother's house. I had moved out of her house before, about a few months before I left Indianapolis. But I remember I was going to the store, and she was looking out the window at me, apparently, because my mother was a single parent, and you know how women talk, and they just talk and talk and talk. As soon as I got back to Indianapolis, there was just a tension there because they had already suspected, and I suspect my mother had to know that I was gay, but it was never spoken. But I was going to the store, and she looked out the window, and I came back. She says, "When did you start walking like that?" And I only been in California for maybe 6 months or something like that. But she said, "I walk different." She said, and I picked up this habit in when I was in California of saying the word honey. So because these queens that I was living with, they all said honey a lot. I just thought that was so cute and fascinating. But I didn't intend to bring it home. But she would say something, and I would say, and so she said, honey. She said, what kind of man go around calling people honey? You walking like you got on high heels, and now I'm honey. So there was a lot of tension in that moment. 'Cause I still wasn't ready to confess. I was at my mother's house maybe a month, but the second thing she did was, but we didn't say anything at that moment. Second thing she did was she was in her closet, and I was taking a nap in the middle of the afternoon, and she came into my bedroom where I was raised, and she said to me, "Tim, it looks like somebody been in my closet." I said, "What? Huh?" My dresses, like somebody been wearing my dresses. You know anything about that? She was accusing me of going in there trying on her clothes. So I guess they had figured now that I had gone off to Hollywood, come back, and now I was gay because they already knew I was gay, basically. But this is the way I came out to my family. We had, of course, there was the yelling and screaming and stuff like that, and I wish she was dead and all this kind of things that a lot of us go through. But I wasn't wearing the dresses, just for the record. But we were so far from having an actual conversation. So that's the way I came out. I would say that I came out by going to California, by leaving Indianapolis. I came out when I got in the car to go head towards uh, uh, LA the first time. I was out at that point. I was myself. But of course, I had to come back. And then my mother outed me with these dumb accusations because I guess we had to go through that period. For me, I don't think it was cowardice, but for me, I immediately left Indianapolis again. So I've probably been in Indianapolis maybe 3 times in 40 years. So for me, it wasn't really a hard thing coming out. It wasn't like I was out and then I was around people who knew me as a heterosexual person. I mean, as a gay person who knew me before and now was realizing this. I never gave my family a chance to confront me or anything like that. We never discussed it. I was just gone. But I was grateful that I was. The stars were looking out for me because I was just very fortunate in my early years in Hollywood. Things worked out for me pretty good. And so that's my coming out story. It ain't much, I know. It ain't. It's somehow it's just not fun to watch coming out stories about old people. For me, when young people tell you their coming out experience when it's still fresh and they're young, it's very exciting. But we all have one. Anyway, happy coming out day 2016. Later.